What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Voice of Reason. As you can see, we have a third person with us today, a familiar face who we are hoping to have on the show much more often as a regular. Brandi from TikTok is back, and we are back to talking about the 2024 election. Why were we talking about the 2024 election? Well, it seems like other groups are starting to come out using the data from the Election Truth Alliance, and they are doing investigations of their own. They are putting out reports of their own. The group that we are going to be talking about today is called the Common Coalition, and they have put out a report, which we have here for you to review. Brandy's going to walk us through a lot of it, and Mike has some overlays set up and everything like that. Because we are to the point now where we have enough data and common sense to say that, yeah, something isn't right.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, we've been told to not believe our own eyes. Mike and I have said this repeatedly. The Donald Trump's rallies were quite literally empty. The Craigslist ads for people to attend were real.
Wait, remember when the Venmo payment would go through?
That's what I'm saying.
Everyone leave before he was done speaking?
Go and watch any Donald Trump rally towards the end, and you will see a moment in time when all the Venmo and Cash App payments hit, and a massive amount of people all leave at once.
Like it really happened.
Right. And then Tim Walz and Kamala Harris can both hold rallies in two different cities in stadiums packed to the brim. And this was like a pop-up thing. There was no notice. We didn't even know this was going to happen.
They were like, we're going to be in Detroit and in Colorado or somewhere today.
Right, and they announced it last minute.
20,000 people.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We're sitting here told, like, that's why I was so confused when Donald Trump won. I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. And especially like all 7 swing states, that doesn't make sense to me because the last 2 presidents to do that were Obama and Ronald Reagan. You know what I'm saying? And I just, to me, it's still hard to believe and accept the results. We're just going to talk about it. We're not going to get into conspiracies, but these feelings are based on statistics, numbers, and actual research that people have done, like the Election Truth Alliance. You know what I mean? So it's not, this is not conspiracy. This is actual data.
When Jeremy says we're not going to accept it, we're not going to go storm the Capitol. What we're going to do we're going to follow the legal means. We're going to follow the numbers. We're going to not exaggerate. We're not going to obfuscate the truth. What we're going to do is we're going to accept that there was something that went on with our election, and we're going to fight to improve the elections of the future. We just had, was it last week already, last Sunday, where we had on the Election Truth Alliance and Smart Elections? Oh, it's Tuesday. It was Tuesday. And you know, one thing that's important for them to get across is that they are acting in a nonpartisan way. Right. So today we have a little bit of leeway to be really, really shooting towards certain people. And one thing that I think is important for people to realize, Jeremy, you've said this, the reason Trump went so hard saying that the 2020 election was stolen is because they tried this. And when they didn't win, he was so confused about why they didn't win that he went, the Democrats had to win. No, it's because they only cheated a little bit.
Right.
What they are doing, or what they did for the 2024 election, you know, we've seen some of this data. Now this report is coming to really organize this raw data into a palatable chunk. And the intent of this report is actually to give it to your representatives. There are forms in this report for everyone of all walks of life to use social media, to contact their representatives, to contact the media, different ways to get this report out, to get videos out, to get the data out, because the only way we save our democracy, if we have elections, is to make sure those elections are free and fair. That's it. So I think before we get into the information, I did want to play that video. It's a bit of a long one, but it's a video from the Common Coalition report.
It's worth it.
It is worth it. It's not, they have 2 on their YouTube right now. One's 51 minutes where they go through the entire report, and that itself is fascinating. But this one is just about 5 minutes. I want us to watch it because it gives us a good overview about what we know we all felt and saw.
Yep, and let me know if the audio is okay. If there's an echo, we might have to mute our mics.
Okay.
So just let me know in the comments.
Yep.
information. We don't need the votes. I have so many votes.
We don't need votes. I tell my people, I don't need any votes. We got all the votes we need. I don't need votes. We don't need votes. We got more votes than anybody's ever had. You don't have to vote. Don't worry about voting. The voting, we got plenty of votes.
Telling voters, do not bother to vote for me. It doesn't matter if you do. I don't need your votes. That is a thing that should prick up your ears.
Good evening, America! Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives. Thank you, everyone. So listen.
Facts.
And I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over.
What's the secret, Donald? What's the secret, Mike? Is the secret somehow wound up in these numbers I'm seeing that don't make sense?
I think my ballot was part of the burning ballot boxes that were on fire.
And those were only in kind of states.
I knew something fishy was going on with this election. And everybody was saying the numbers didn't add up. And they not adding up.
Please go check your ballot status. I just checked mine and my vote did not count.
I do not go into conspiracy theories or any of that kind of stuff. However, I decided just out of curiosity, should I go check to see if my ballot is registered or anything? I went on there, checked it. It doesn't have any record of my vote.
Last time, he lost the popular vote essentially by almost 8 million.
Right.
And this time he won the popular by almost 5 million.
That I'll pause it right there real quick just to make a little commentary because YouTube likes when you do that. That's a really good point. What he just said, you know what I'm saying?
His popularity didn't go up.
That's what I'm saying. He lost to Biden. And you mean to tell me that Kamala Harris is somehow less popular than Joe Biden? Old ass, nice. I like Joe, but old ass Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
No one was like jumping out of
We want to get stormed.
Right?
Hooked up because they have no communication whatsoever. And Elon will always come through.
If he loses, man, what?
If he loses,
it does seem that way.
How long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? Do you think?
Are we going to get audits? Are we going to get recounts? Recounts aren't feasible because of our election laws, but we can have audits. We can have audits in the swing states. Our democracy requires that our voices are heard. That's built into the Constitution. That's the whole point. And if our voices and our votes are not being counted, we should be upset. We should be looking into this. This is a big deal.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election, and he was put into office because the Russians interfered.
If you live in any of the swing states, I need you guys reaching out to your local and state election officials and say, hey, let's do an audit. Let's verify.
Some might think it is alarmist to be talking this way, but I think we should be preparing to defend against the worst case scenario, that foreign actors will target these outmoded machines and manipulate vote tallies. Given Russia's unprecedented effort to undermine confidence in our election system while attempting to interfere with the outcome of a presidential election, there is no question that the Kremlin is emboldened, along with other state and non-state actors, to try again.
I think it's time. Like, why are we? I think it's time for me to start calling Josh Shapiro.
Me too.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting you're from Pennsylvania too. No, this is a great video. I have their their YouTube channel. Can I share it? They wanted to link to the other video. I can do that real quick. That's a fantastic video.
Also, I think we're echoing off your mic, Jeremy.
Okay, let me mute that.
It's better. It's better.
There we go.
That was only when that one was up.
Yeah. So, all right, there we go.
So
copy and
Brandi, what do you think about that? I mean, that's a pretty good overview about, I think, what we all felt that day. I know that night when I went to sleep, I wasn't mad. I was confused. Not because, oh, I was so wrong. How could I be wrong? But because we know we weren't wrong.
No, I think, honestly, to me, I think the Common Coalition's report does like a good part where the ETA and like smart elections, like we've said, they can't be partisan. The Common Coalition, not that they're being super partisan, but they kind of put that out there for everyone.
Yeah.
It also makes it more manageable and more like bite-sized for people. Like instead of it being like a long form report for everyone, it's like slides that you can read through.
Yeah, it's only 33 pages long. Yeah.
So everyone, full disclosure, Brandi and I this week, we were talking throughout the week, getting ready, not before we even knew we were going to have the episode today. We both downloaded the Coalition report at work, printed it, forgot it at work, then had to get it like the next day. And of course, because I'm the worst procrastinator, I didn't actually do my homework until this morning, and I read it this morning. But like you said, Jeremy, if you want to bring up the actual report for a moment, it is so manageable because they actually do it. It looks like you're reading a PowerPoint printout.
Yeah, I mean that's.
And as someone who lives in PowerPoint and Excel at work, it was like, oh, this is like I'm reading a work report. This is nice. But it really and the information on it, it doesn't get wordy and it reads like it's meant to convey information. You know how sometimes there's just words there because the person writing it likes to hear themselves. This is meant to convey information in a digestible way that helps you see the overall picture. So I'm just going to start going through a little bit of it.
That, and I feel like it kind of gives, like, it flashes back to like things that happened during like the campaign, like, hey, do you guys remember this? Like this, what, like, why does it feel so weird? Like the Election Truth Alliance and Smart Elections don't do that, and I completely get why, because that's not their, and that's not their place. That's not what they're doing. But
we want them to do their thing.
The Common Coalition kind of brings it back to like, do you remember what it was like when the campaign was running and what was happening? And this is why this seems so weird now.
You know what it is? It's the same thing as you don't want your scientists to tell you what to think. You want your scientists to give you their information that they come across through verifiable sources, and then you want Neil deGrasse Tyson and Carl Sagan to tell you what to think, because they're the ones that can interpret it in an educational way. And I think that's another thing. It always dovetails back to education, everything we do, because this report could be more technical if more people, including us, had better educations. I'm not talking about college or masters or doctorates. I'm talking about we need to be able to be coherent in interpreting information, making logical conclusions, identifying fallacies. And what this report does is it really does filter out the mistakes and just shows you what the data implies. And it leaves it for you, even though this is a little more pointed than just raw data, it lets you see it in the way that it really is. You can't misinterpret it. So I just want, from their own words, more than 50 experts, statisticians, computer scientists, cybersecurity analysts, astrophysicists, behavioral experts, constitutional lawyers, and the foremost authority on election forensics, combined with stories of our collective memories, which are important. Do not let that disappear. Don't forget what you know you saw. The Common Coalition report is for every concerned American you know. We have constitutional avenues to remove this illegitimate administration, which is an interesting statement. But it won't happen unless the American people demand that Congress act. Now, that's something that blew my mind, because I was under the impression that we don't have any mechanisms. But are we going to get to that point? I personally don't think so, but I think what this report can do is shed light on the fact that people in a democracy need to actually take a stake in their democracy, to take part in their democracy. It's why Jeremy and I signed up on Tuesday to learn to be poll watchers. By the way, I got my email. The Teams meeting for the next step is September 29th, and I'm very excited. I'm going to watch that. Because
I don't remember if I had a meeting or
we
not.
got to put our money where our mouth is, and this report helps understand where the problems are. It actually gives people the opportunity to see where their interest may lie, what they can help with. Are they good at writing letters? Are they good at social media? But getting this information in this report to the hands of people that could blast it out there is probably what I think our goal for today is. So
speaking of real quick, just speaking of standard on business, I want to thank everybody out there that donated over the last week. Priscilla, you're amazing. Thank you again so much. She always comes through. I'm going to DC possibly Wednesday night, if not Thursday morning, really, really early, and meeting up with a bunch of other veterans and content creators in Washington, D.C. We're going to make our voices heard. So the trip is a go. Everything is a go. I just got to call and reserve my hotel rooms. But if you'd like to donate, because I'm planning to stay for quite a few days, we still need to raise a little bit of money for that. I'm not going down for just a day trip. This is going to be like a 4 or 5, we'll see from there, but at least 4 to 5 day trip.
I might need bail money for him. So
right, and I may need bail money at some point because they are straight up arresting.
Nah, they let you out
creators.
that night.
Oh, okay.
They just put you in the drunk tank because they can't charge you with anything, so they just put you in the drunk tank.
They can beat the shit out of you before that, though. But
they'll do that, but then you get to sue them. So
true, very true. So I will be in DC, so keep an eye out. Next week's schedule, the rest of this week's going to be very hectic. I don't know how much I'll be able to plan, so just keep an eye out. And I'm going to be streaming on mostly YouTube, Facebook, and my Instagram page.
If Jeremy needs to get information out that for some reason he can't on his own means, he'll let that get to me, and I will put out information as necessary.
Yep. If you'd like to help out, the GoFundMe's in our link tree, which is in the description of this video or on our channel page. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
So, back to the report. The way they do break it up, like Brandi said, is very much like a PowerPoint. So it's broken up in these headings. The truth, she mopped the floor with him. We know what happened. We have the data. Dr. Walter Mabane's expert analysis, because people are obsessed with this guy, and there's a reason for it. He is not the end-all, be-all, right, Brandi? But he is important.
He is, he was, because I know they've defunded USAID, but he was at least the leading expert in election forensics in the United States. Like, he was the guy that they called into other countries when they had election issues, like, to look at things.
Yeah, no, he gets it. He's actually an interesting guy to watch around election season. He always comes up and does the circuit on the shows. And they try and get him to make claims, and man, he is really good. He will not make certain claims. It's awesome.
Yep, and now he's agreeing with the Election Truth Alliance that Pennsylvania and North Carolina potentially have like fraudulent votes.
That is huge news.
Right.
Yep.
Wow. So let's go look at some of the first areas that I wanted to talk about. This is one, I picked 2 areas that I think are important, but people are hesitant to talk about because they're either difficult to prove from a layman perspective. Now, the report does go into detail on some of these that we, the public, might not be able to normally explain. For example, the Doge boys. Remember when we found out there was a bunch of children hackers working for Elon Musk stealing all of our data? Well, it actually isn't a coincidence who those kids are, because they actually have a story to do with this before. Okay, and this is where it gets scary. Wired reported this week, this is from an article around election time, that a 19-year-old working for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency was given access to sensitive U.S. government systems, even though his past association with cybercrime communities should have precluded him from gaining the necessary security clearance to do so. As today's story explores, the Doge teen is a former denizen of the Calm, an archipelago of Discord and Telegram chat channels that function as a kind of distributed cyber criminal social network for facilitating instant collaboration. Since President Trump's second inauguration, Musk's Dodge team has gained access to a truly staggering amount of personal and sensitive data on American citizens, moving quickly to seize control over the databases at the U.S. Treasury, the Office of Personnel Management, Department of Education, Department of Health and Human Services, among others. But before that, some of these little kids had their own little cyber businesses that had to do with what? Elections and vote counting.
Not only that, a lot of them studied under Peter, not studied, but studied under Peter Thiel, who is
what
the creator
now?
of
what?
he like created Palantir and everything like that, which is like what the army and all of the like 3-letter agencies use as far as like, tracking other like countries' movements, like tracking American movements. Peter Thiel has his hands in ICE.
So what you're saying is people that then forget that they were in the government eventually. Before the government, they were working with Elon Musk, who was working with Donald Trump to get him elected, by the way, who also has millions of worldwide satellites and access to every network in the world, had a bunch of hackers that were already collecting data on people, knew how to process that data. That doesn't seem very free and fair.
Yep. And these are all like 19-year-old kids, like not to be mean, but that have no like life experience of like what it like how things
none of them have
like,
paid a bill before.
The implications of like what they are doing, like none of them actually I feel like understand this.
No, they
and
don't.
like that's why they went for it, because it's like we're gonna show them a lot of money and they're gonna go for it.
Well, I mean, let's face it. We're out of the decade when the hacker type movies were something that would get people our age to go, and I'm going to say specifically Jeremy and my age because we're old farts, be like, oh, cool, we want to be hackers, clickety, clickety, click, click. No.
Right.
What hackers do is steal data and use it for nefarious reasons, either personal gain or to sell it to the highest bidder. And in this case, all that money went to all that data went to Elon Musk, and what he did with it and what he was able to do with it, we're never going to know.
No,
we're just not.
I'm making an overlay right now real quick of the difference between a normal looking election and with that North Carolina data that you just sent me. So
let's move on to some of the next stuff while Jeremy's doing that.
Please.
One of the next areas that I think is, in my opinion, probably the hardest to tackle is for so long everyone on the left was like, Don, the 2020 election was not stolen. Now, like I said earlier, I think he thinks it was because he put into place something to try and steal it. And when it didn't work because he really didn't realize how much he was hated, it went bust for him. But we have to accept that if the data says this election was played with, we have to accept that we're going to have to talk with it. We can't be afraid to talk about it and ashamed to talk about it. But the reason we're afraid to talk about it, if everyone can't put the nail on the head there, is because we don't want to be like the QAnon shaman. We don't want to be like the insurrectionists. We don't want to sound like them. Right. That's what this comes down to.
We kind of sound crazy most of the time anyway.
We do, but let's think about this. To be clear, those denying the 2020 election results lost all 64 court cases. This is where the difference lies. They tried to do it the, quote, legal way after the illegal way failed, and they failed in the legal way because they had no argument. Many due to lack of standing, but fundamentally because they had no evidence. All right? Think Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, going, they stole the ballots. They're in the pillows. I know where the ballots are.
Yeah, I know where that.
But think about it. It goes more than that. Look at your eyes. Look at what actually happened. See, the difference with MAGA is MAGA looks at the world with their eyes closed. We have to look at the world with our eyes open and see what the facts are. Fox News was forced to pay Dominion $787 million for knowingly spreading falsehoods about the 2020 election. Tucker Carlson was fired for his direct role in promoting those lies. The Smith report confirms that Trump and his cabinet were well aware that they had lost before November 15, 2020. Governors in key swing states called Trump directly to confirm his defeat. Despite this, Trump and his team pushed the big lie, deliberately inflaming the MAGA base. We, however, have manipulated election data, and in several cases, Trump on video openly admitting that Elon Musk knows those voting machines better than anybody and that he didn't need votes. He said that. He already had all the votes he needed to win. Why is that? Audits, petitions, and contradicting Congress are lawful constitutional actions, not even remotely comparable to the violence of January 6th. The pursuit of justice and the defense of democracy should not be conflated with partisan politics. Peaceful and legal means of redress, such as audits, petitions, and contacting elected officials, are fundamental rights. We are going about this by presenting data and not storming the Capitol and smearing shit on the walls.
Yeah, because that happened.
Brandi, do you think it's apparent to those who are listening, not to our show, but who are willing to listen to truth?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the type of report that could get a few more people to look at what actually went on, a few more people to suspect what happened, a few more people to go, wow, we know that the right was doing something. We have to listen to what the left is saying.
I mean, I think it could. You're never going to convince like the true MAGA followers of anything. Like, I think people that are just like Republicans, like if they get their hands on the data and sit down with it and read it over, I think that they could be convinced, because I have some coworkers that are like that. But I don't, like, the people that are diehard MAGA supporters, like, I don't think you'll ever convince them of anything other than what they believe.
Right.
No.
That's why I don't like those Jubilee podcasts, because they sit down and debate MAGAs. Like, it's pointless. You're not going to, people that truly believe, like, it's like religion. Like, faith is very strong. Like, people believe, if they have certain beliefs that they really, truly, strongly believe in, you're not going to change their mind just by throwing a couple numbers at them or saying, oh, well, you're wrong because this, that, and the other thing, because they don't care.
I think what we need to do is embrace the data. And as much as we want to punch people, as much as we would, quote, I'm being sarcastic here, love to storm the Capitol, that's not what we do, because we're not barbarians. We don't participate in barbarism. The words redress of government, the fact that we have options, yes, what very likely happened in the 2024 election was that it was meddled with by a foreign actor in Elon Musk for the benefit of Donald Trump, a traitor to this country. But storming the Capitol isn't going to do anything, because that's illegal. Now, if there's a point where we're supposed to call up arms against a tyrannical government, it's right now with Donald Trump. And I don't see those Second Amendment people doing it. But what I do want to make clear is the people on the right side of history have legal means. And the more we press those legal means, it will be obvious when the right and Donald Trump and all his cronies, they choose fascism. We choose legality. And it will be more and more obvious the more we stick to the truth. Brandi, you were going to say something. Sorry.
I forgot. In your
I do that to people. I apologize.
Oh, you're good. Actually, I have something I can show you guys now. I downloaded the graphs that you sent me. So this is North Carolina now, right? Down ballot. This is the 2016 election, and keep in mind that there was proven that Russia actually meddled in this election. Okay, so that's not conspiracy theory either. But here is what a normal election looks like, right?
Yep. At least relatively normal.
Normal, we'll say. Okay, so now let's look at the other one here that I have pulled up. You'll see an immediate difference if you, well, sorry, this is the same one. Let me pull this one up. And you can see immediately, oh, well, that's not the same at all. Like, you don't have to we talked about this before the show. You don't have to understand statistics. I can barely say it with my speech impediment. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be a mathematician to understand that this does not look like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not that hard. So, all right, keep in mind, all red up top, all blue. That means that, all right, Brandi, explain to me, because I'm going to mess it up. Brandi, explain what this means to me real quick, to the viewers.
Well, like, essentially, like, what I believe they are doing is, like, comparing the presidential candidate to the next down candidate, which is usually, like, the Senate or the governor. Again, I'm not an expert either, but I believe that's what they are doing. Yeah. So it's showing that, like, she is being, she's underperforming against, like, a senator or a governor, which is not really normal in a presidential election.
Right. So this would be, I mean, this would also point to the other thing that we've been talking about relentlessly, and that is, it would mean a lot of people voted for Donald Trump as president, and then Democrats all the way down the ballot, which we know a diehard MAGA. Do you honestly believe, even if he disagrees with Trump and his policies, they are so diehard cult members that they would never vote? Maybe rare occasions where there are some Republicans that have common sense. At this point, I'm starting to doubt that completely. Maybe there are some instances where they voted for Donald Trump and then voted for other candidates down ballot that weren't Republican, okay? But not at this scale. I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that thousands of people, tens of thousands of people voted that way. It just doesn't even make sense. Like, that's what we're saying about the common sense part of this, is this just doesn't make sense.
No, because like, why would you vote for him for the policies that he wants, which are going to be the ones that are going to be implemented because he's going to be the president then, but you want the policies that all the blue candidates below him want too?
That's not reality. That's
right. So
not,
you
can't even pretend that would happen.
Right. You want fascism on a national level, but then you want a Democratic leader at a local level.
Yeah, no.
Give me a break, man.
I want a Democratic governor, but I want my president to be a Republican.
Right. It's like I'm saying, they want us.
Republican would do that. That's
right.
Not real.
But that's another thing. Like at one point, that actually probably would have been normal because it was like people weren't to these extreme.
Right.
Like there probably were people that were like, you know what? I think that I would like my Republican governor, but I actually agree with the president who is like a Democrat. But now, ever since like he came in, like honestly, it was kind of getting bad before this. But ever since Donald Trump ran, it has gotten like ultimately worse. Like it is just. He polarizes everything.
It's funny you say that because I remember a long time ago, like around, I'm going to say my first presidential election was George W. Bush. I did not vote for George W. Bush, but I remember people talking, and I was talking to people because I was like, so what, how do you vote? Like, what are your opinions? This is before I started like learning anything. Some people were like, well, I tend to vote for the president of one party that I like, and then I vote for the Republicans or the other party that I want for local because it keeps them in check. And I'm like, I remember thinking, I don't know that I ever did that specifically, but I remember thinking that made a lot of sense because it forces the different parties. Otherwise, no one gets anything. But to your point, Brandi, that's not how people think anymore. Right now, people think that the Democrats sell baby organs for blood rituals. Like that's not a thing that like a Republican voter is going to do.
Right. That's a real thing, actually. We talked about that so many times. Marjorie Taylor Greene actually held a hearing on black market baby organ sales and was accusing actual universities of selling baby organs. I'm not even kidding you. Taxpayer money well spent, guys.
Marge. Okay, so
anyway,
one thing I wanted to lay out some information. I'm reading through it right now. I have it earmarked. Some of the multi-purpose strategy, because again, this is the next stage. The data is the first stage. Then people need to organize the data into a coherent action plan. So this goes to show you where their plan is being built from. Coordinated election disruptions via threats. This is one of those things that we saw happen, but we need to really investigate it. According to the Brennan Center, at least 227 bomb threats targeted Democratic polling stations, election offices, and tabulation centers nationwide on and after Election Day. Explosive devices detonated on ballot drop boxes across several Pacific Northwest Democrat states, and law enforcement was delayed in responding to them. How about corporate acquisition of election infrastructure? In 2021, Trip Light, a company certified to maintain over 70% of U.S. election equipment, was sold by far-right judicial architect Leonard Leo to Eaton Corp. Eaton Corp has previously partnered with Palantir, developing AI-driven supply chains, effectively linking Peter Thiel to the nation's voting infrastructure. This happened before the election. By 2024, Eaton had expanded its work with Palantir to include AI-powered management, migration, and cleansing of large data sets, raising questions about the potential application to sensitive data and election equipment.
We have two AI companies now that were formerly CIA companies. Again, so like we're not supposed to believe that this is even possible.
Well, wait,
you're right, Brandi. We are meant to believe that we have the most secure elections in the world, that none of this could ever happen. And then what happened is Donald Trump, and let's keep in mind, Donald Trump up until this point has never won a popular election.
Republicans
and you mean
in the
to
last
tell
50
me over the
years
past
won popular elections?
The only reason he got elected is because of the what am I trying to say?
Yay.
The electoral college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me over the last 10 years, he has gotten crazier, more extreme, and his policies are literally right out of Project 2025, which we all knew about before the election. And you mean to tell me that he received more votes this time than ever before?
Well, wait, we got more. We got more.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me.
This is fun. Hold on. You're going to shit. So data harvesting and algorithmic manipulation. We just saw in that video when Elon Musk basically said, if we don't win, I'm going to prison.
Yeah.
I think people forget that he started a PAC to gather voting data.
Yep.
Just 90 days before the 2024 election, Musk launched a voter information harvesting PAC exclusively targeting swing states, paying up to $1 million per day to entice registration.
They did it here in Pennsylvania.
Yep. Staff from Must Dodge Initiative, notably Ethan Shertrain, who I think is at Big Balls, developed a platform called Ballot Proof in 2020, marketed as a ballot scrubbing tool.
What the fuck? I'm sorry,
So,
Brandi.
a little child
that
nerd,
slipped out.
A little baby child nerd hacker made a program to get rid of ballots in electronic balloting systems.
Mm-hmm.
Then he started working for Elon Musk, and then he started working for the government under Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Okay. Satellite-based MITM interference in January 2024. This weird Musk name keeps coming up. Musk began rapid deployment of a low-orbit direct-to-cell satellite constellation with 265 satellites operational by late October. These satellites have the ability to function as a man-in-the-middle MITM network, the equivalent of placing a Stingray device above every voting precinct in America.
Bro, oh my
God. So they
God,
knew
that
who
means...
was voting, who they were voting for, and they could intercept that signal.
That makes... Oh my God, you guys, this...
So
tracks.
here's the problem.
No, listen, Mike, we went over last time when ETA was on here. We talked about the fucking routers and how they were compromised.
Yeah.
All you
and how all of these companies say that the routers don't connect to the internet, which I don't think that they have like proof that they do or they don't, but they could. So like
that's what a router's for, though. That's the only thing you use.
I know.
Exactly. Like, why do you have a router if you're not planning on connecting to the internet? It would seem kind of rather pointless to have one at that point.
Here's a good one.
Oh
While
my
we're
God,
on the topic
this is blowing
of,
my mind.
This is my favorite. This is a good one.
Flabbergasted.
Jeremy, if you want to bring this up, it's page 15.
What page am I on? 5. Okay.
Wait, let me see if I'm going to echo. You might have to mute your microphone. This is a good one because it's also, again, putting it in the format to get people to start thinking. What's really critical here is, again, we are providing evidence and logic, where all those lawsuits were like, you're not even providing evidence. You're just going, wah, he lost. We're getting the evidence and putting together a case. What I think a lot of people don't understand, just because you watch Law and Order, it's not that quick to put a case together. You need facts. You need to be able to develop a narrative. That's not a fake narrative, but you have to be able to prove what happened through a narrative. So in this section, that was so weird. Trump continues to publicly admit that Elon Musk knew he was going to win the election. The Kremlin stated they helped Trump win the election and expected the favor to be returned. Alfie Oaks and Polymarket were raided and investigated after the election was over.
That's true.
President Jimmy Carter stated on C-SPAN that Putin helped Trump win the 2016 election. The Romanian election was annulled in January for similar concerns, and yet the U.S. is still not doing an audit. Germany reported concerns of election interference similar to what we've seen in the U.S. Hashtag Trump treated was trending on social for weeks, and yet the media was radio silent about the election recounts. It only took 4 hours to determine that Trump won. That has never happened, ever. It's got to be quick. We got to know quick.
Right.
Well, they knew in 4 hours, and Elon Musk said before those 4 hours, he won.
To Dana White, who hangs out in that circle, I don't know why he would lie about this, who told Joe Rogan that Elon Musk, I know this sounds like I heard from my cousin's best friend's uncle's brother, but the results of the election 3 hours before anybody else. How would you know that information? And is that why you would go to jail for the rest of your life if you got caught for this? Just so you know, this is page 5. This shows the Ohio race, okay? This one you can see down here at the bottom, 2016, Clinton and Trump, right? You don't need, again, you don't need to know maths. You don't even need to be a high school graduate to look at a picture and say one thing is not like the other. Okay? It's that simple. Top, Ohio 20, obviously. 2016 was supposed to be a secure and normal election, even with the Russian interference. However, 8 years later, holy shit, you know what I'm saying? That people don't change their voting habits like this over a period of 8 years or ever. You know, typically when you vote, you know which way you're voting. You don't have your life, which we know Republican. Yeah, which.
Why? I don't hear it.
I don't either. I don't know. Hopefully it's have 2024 Texas versus 2020 Texas. Obviously, again, very, very different. I don't know. There was a moment, Brandi. I don't know if you watched. Did you watch the election live?
I stayed up till probably like 10:30, 11 o'clock because I had like, oh, like this is going pretty good, and then all of a sudden, like stuff didn't like make sense or.
You literally just described what I'm about to say. Mike and I were live streaming, there was a moment where everything went from blue to red. Because Kamala Harris was leading for quite a while there, and then there was a moment in time. It was like a switch went off, and then all of a sudden, and just like you, like I woke up the next day and I wanted to throw up.
I have
it was
to
so
try to make election night, and I forget what state it was, but it was like literally a minute of like this newscast, and I want to say it came back through all the candidates and all the elections that were going on. He had like he was now beating her by like a bigger number, and
so I'm gonna suggest maybe we each of us back out and join again. Maybe it's bad. I guess we'll keep going.
Yeah. Can't understand anything.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me back out. I'll back out.
All right.
Back.
So let's see. We'll take turns. Jeremy's gonna back defreeze. Okay. I don't want to talk too much if we're all skippy because I'm Kamala Harris concede because I think it's important the expectation we had versus.
I also think it's important to touch on the fact that like every single like a universal like here's what we do. Everyone is different.
All right, I'm gonna back out now.
All right. Anybody help? What am I saying? I don't know, Pamela. Fix it, please. It's like a wormhole in Star Trek. I had a problem like this before. The audio is still terrible. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay.
Is it better? Is it her mic? Can you hear me now? I feel like a freaking man. Weird. Sounds like Teletubbies. That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know what it is. That's weird.
I'm looking on my Instagram feed. You can see it's choppy on the Instagram.
It could be the
coming after us, just like TikTok.
Yeah, well, that was
No, not good. It's got to be StreamYard. Conspiracy theory.
There's no way to stop the live and start it on the same thing again, right?
Chop and screw music. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to end the show here. No, the same for all of you. All right, hold on. I'm going to type in the comments. Maybe we are being watched. That's probably...
So Brina just said that. Man. Brandi, it's you have the infection from the TikTok virus. That's what's happening.
I know, right? Well,
This
I tried to
happens,
make a
man.
backup account actually, and it got like banned in 30 seconds.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I didn't even get to put up like a profile picture.
That's shady as shit. Okay, someo's saying it got better. Let's keep going.
Oh, got better?
So,
Okay.
One
It
thing
just got
I
better.
wanted to...
Now it's working. Yay!
Okay, good. So what I wanted to do, I'll start again since that was hopefully or likely when no one heard it, is I want to read a section called "Why Did Kamala Harris Concede?" Because it's important we understand that our expectations and what could reasonably happen are two very different things. So we have long maintained that the Harris team was caught between a rock and a hard place when it came to recounts. Multiple sources exposed that Trump's associates had lawyers stationed across the country ready to flood the courts with lawsuits designed to delay any election challenges beyond certification deadlines.
So funny.
The strategy was simple: run out the clock and land the matter before a compromised SCOTUS. The country has already seen a partisan SCOTUS bench hand the presidency to the wrong candidate in the past. Think Al Gore, George Bush. VP Harris couldn't risk this outcome. There's also an issue of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment and why it wasn't used to bar Trump from taking office. Remember, MAGA had been lied to and gaslit by Trump and Fox News for 4 years. Many of his followers still believe he won the 2020 election. Had Congress invoked Section 3, we didn't and still don't have enough Secret Service agents to protect Congress and their families from the violence that would inevitably ensue, like we saw on January 6th.
Yeah.
The left will not be the ones to put this country in danger. It will be the fascists led by Donald Trump and a Heritage Foundation.
If there is a revolution in this country that is violent, I guarantee you they will be the ones who fire the first shot.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say. And the reaction will be appropriate. I will also say that. But they will be the ones to fire the first shot. When the Secretary of Defense laughs, I know this is not about elections, but the fact that we're dealing with this right now because of possible, we'll say what it is, election interference, okay, whether we're looking at the data or the fact that we had literal bot farms from both China, Russia, insert your communist and fascist country here. Bot
Fair
farms
Candace.
messing, look, go on Facebook, for Christ's sake. Facebook is the most toxic place on the internet. It's worse than Twitter, because at least Twitter has Grok that'll fact check people and it has community notes.
Grok fact check Elon Musk. It fact checked
you can
itself.
post anything on Facebook and it will not get fact checked. It is unbelievable. So you
know what? That's how Jeremy's making bank on Facebook, trolling the shit out of MAGA.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally. That's what
And I'm just
literally
kidding, not really. But he's messing with them, and he's getting a few dollars here and there because why? MAGA can't help themselves. Facebook is the perfect example of why we're in this mess.
Yeah,
MAGA
Casey
can't help itself. It just
Casey
can't.
messaged me. She's like, Jesus Christ, I was in your Facebook comments, and I've never seen anything like that. I was like, yeah, my comment section is a pretty toxic place. But anyway, I want to go back to the election. Like the only thing that bothers me right now about Kamala Harris, and the only complaint, because I think with what she was given, I think she ran a perfect campaign. Okay, she ran on joy, a better life for everyone. Tim Walz was just like
You're setting up a
the
good
coolest, but a man's man at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? He's like this laid back, goofy dad,
hunting
but he's out there
football
fixing
coach.
antique cars and going hunting and shit. You know what I mean? So to me, they ran a perfect campaign. I don't think they could have done anything else. And I honestly think they knew this was coming. There's a video of Letitia James out there where she says, we read Project 2025. We knew what was going to happen. And I don't know if this is why Kamala Harris is being so quiet. Do they have a plan for all of this?
No.
That they just can't let us know? Like, in my mind, don't want to believe that Kamala Harris went from all that to being non-existent almost. Have you seen Kamala Harris in the press lately? No. The only person you're seeing is Gavin Newsom. They're already talking about Gavin Newsom for president in 2028. And Kamala Harris said she's not running for governor, which means she's most likely going to run for president again.
With Newsom.
You just lost all your thunder. You should have took a little time off, and now you see us protesting like, where are y'all? Even our Democratic leaders, like Josh Shapiro, why the fuck are you not looking at this information? Like, the thing that bothers me about this Josh Shapiro situation, because you're in Pennsylvania too, Brandi, you can probably agree with me on this, is the fact he never looked at the data. He looked at the email that proposed that they would send the data for them to look at, and they declined and said, we're not interested in a response email. So they never even looked at all this stuff that we've been showing you guys.
Pennsylvania has known about this for like a while, the ETA, because they sent them letters like a while ago. And then there was like a week of action that the Election Truth Alliance did where during Memorial Day where people were calling the offices. They called Philadelphia, Erie, and Allegheny election offices. Mm-hmm. They had them calling Josh Shapiro. They had them calling Al Schmidt. People were sending emails. I sent over 100 emails to Josh Shapiro's office, and all I got back were those generic ones that they send that are like, thanks for your email. Here's my campaign plan for the next year. So, like, it's just, they want to ignore it. Like, I think that they just don't want to look at it because then they're going to be implicated too. Because this is definitely more than like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Like, it's more than two people that did this.
Oh, absolutely. This is the White Heritage Foundation as well. For those of you guys that don't know and never watched, I call the Heritage Foundation the White Heritage Foundation now because that's what heritage means in Heritage Foundation. They're talking about white heritage. That's why the Homeland Security Office is posting shit like protect your culture. What culture? They're talking about white culture. Which
one might make an argument.
We have no culture.
White people in America have no culture. We
only have culture because of immigrants in other countries, bro.
You know what's white
That's
culture?
The only reason.
You know what's white culture? Vikings.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Vikings. And none of y'all are descendants of Vikings.
No, look, I'm exaggerating, but I think
I know. I agree.
While we're talking about culture, I think you put me on this road here because one of the last things I wanted to talk about in the report, and I want to stress, the report is written in a way to get people who remember what they saw and remember the election to think differently and in alignment with the data. And one of the things that it's important that it picks on is the people who didn't want to vote for Kamala because of, let's just say, Biden's potential support or for Israel. And it's important to understand Kamala was the vice president. She doesn't make policy. You don't know what she did or didn't say behind closed doors. But what she said publicly was that she was in support of a two-state solution. She was in support of Israel stopping all attacks on Gaza right now and making sure food aid was getting in there. So if you really wanted to not vote for her because of her opinion on Palestine, you voted incorrectly. And again, what the hell did you think was going to happen? Trump was going to be friends with Palestine? And I'm not making this a show about Palestine and Israel. What I'm making this about is you have to remember the facts. Who was Kamala Harris? What was the environment? What was she saying? What were the results of the elections? What were people looking at when they were getting ready for the election? Oof. And all the data supports that something weird happened. Yeah. And the difference between us and the others is that the others don't care about facts. They try and make them up as they go to fit their narrative.
Yeah.
Just like with the Epstein files. If Bill Clinton's on it, open a grand jury, see what evidence there is, put his ass in prison. I don't care. If the facts show that the election was stolen in 2020, sure, then we'd have to deal with something. But guess what? The courts have said there was no justifiable evidence to even suggest it. You know what the courts have been saying? There's some evidence to suggest that the 2024 election was stolen.
Yeah.
And that's what this report is, to get people to start seeing the facts. Brandi, honestly, I'd prefer for you to have a little bit of time to talk about whatever you wanted to give your real opinion on this subject and what we could expect from it.
I mean, what exactly are you asking here? Like, is it on the report in general, or just like my opinions on everything?
You know what? given through the lens of this report, knowing that we have potentially actionable information, what do you think we could reasonably expect people to do with this information? Or do you even think that this is just going to survive, or is it going to melt away?
I don't think it's gonna like melt away. I think that this is like a very hot topic right now, especially with the fact that Smart Elections does have their next court date this week, which like their lawsuit didn't get shut down because it wasn't just all woo woo. It was actual facts and people signing statements and affidavits that something did happen. The ETA is going to be dropping a lawsuit in Pennsylvania. That's what they've made it sound like, because Josh Shapiro and Al Schmidt don't want to look at anything. So they're going to start exploring legal avenues. So I don't think that it's going to just go away. I think that more people need to be loud and vocal about it and like get out there and start speaking up. Like, I know places aren't having town halls, but if they are, like, you should go and like make your opinion be known.
For sure. I would also recommend anybody attend a protest. I know it sounds dangerous, but
or watch one on our live stream.
It's almost intoxicating, the amount of camaraderie. I don't know if that's the right word. Like, just the amount of community. You know what I mean? You get a sense that everybody's there for the same reason. It's just it's hard to put into words how you. Exactly
I think it's important. The far right had groups working for this for years, but what really let them win wasn't Donald Trump. It was the coordination and the community of MAGA that built itself around lies, around deceptions, around propaganda. And we on the left, not Democrats, we on the left side of things. And I think this is why what Brandi does on TikTok is so important, because there's not many people going over this information the minute it hits and explaining it and trying to get this information into people's minds. We need an information campaign to get all of us on the left, not just creators, not just people that have their own platforms, but the voters. We want educated voters. We want people to be able to have real discussions and back up their opinions with facts. The left needs a coordinated community like the right has, and that's what we have to build.
I may have a little bit of information here that might change everybody's opinion on Kamala Harris. I wish I wouldn't have looked this up.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
When you know, the problem with learning is once you learn something, you just can't unlearn it. You know what I mean? Once you know something, hard. You know. But let me show you guys, and this may come as a shock to some people. I did not know this. Who do you see on the left?
What do you mean? What's the
Kamala
question?
Harris.
Oh, she's an APACer? Yay.
$9.4 million, bro. This is 20. Go to APAC tracker or trackapac.com. This is a tab. It's a 2024 possible presidential candidates for 2028. I mean,
look,
for the Democrats, all of them are pro-Israel except for AOC.
You know what I'm going to say? You know what I'm going to say about this? I'm going to say the same thing I say about, I am a huge moral supporter of trans rights. All right? And, Donald Trump. Look at that.
No fucking way they put his name on here.
That's
no way.
I understand not supporting Gavin Newsom for his policies, for his ties to AIPAC. Say if you whatever you don't like about Gavin Newsom, I agree. But we gave up our government, we gave up our country, we gave up what is going to be our fundamental freedoms because we were afraid to act unilaterally and decisively as a movement against Donald Trump. I don't like Gavin Newsom. I think he is bad for certain groups. I don't like how he is turning his back on groups.
Yeah.
But at this point, we don't have the luxury of finding a perfect candidate. We don't have the luxury of finding a good candidate. We have to find someone who can win in elections, because if we win in elections and they refuse to let us have that, then we got them. Then they're fascists.
And
we
Gavin
have
Newsom,
to fight the good fight.
Right. I'm pretty
Gavin
sure
Newsom has the balls to fight him. At least he's fighting.
And I'm pretty sure he would not put military on the streets to go after American citizens. Just saying. I honestly don't think anybody else would do that other than this current administration and the people below him. Like, the fact that Congress is going along with this, not saying a damn thing. The fact that Democrats, where are you? Is Israel all telling you guys to stay quiet? Is that the problem? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of y'all need to really rethink your position on the Israel part of this, if you guys want to continue being in the government, because the entire country has soured for the support of Israel. I don't know why I went on that rant there.
One thing I want to say, because I think we're at the end of the show, is I just want to bring up, I want to thank TPMD for your super sticker.
Thank you.
And Jeanette, as usual, giving us the foreign money. We like tariffs, or money laundering, or whatever it is, Soros-funded PSYOP. Thank you.
Some of you donated. Let me see here. Somebody did donate. Alexis, thank you very much. And Betsy, also, thank you guys both so much for your updates. I really appreciate it. Or for your updates, for your donations. I really appreciate it. It's going to be an amazing trip. You guys are making me really excited because I tend to commit to going to things before I have any clue how I'm going to do it.
You do.
Seriously, like we'll have somebody on the show and there's an event in 2 weeks. I'm like, I'll go. And then I'm like, oh, wait. I don't have any money.
But in all honesty, Brandi, this one was a lot of, I think I wanted to read through a lot of information, and I personally love listening to you talk about this stuff because you have a passion for it that is infectious.
Well,
so
I don't even know if you told everyone, but in the report, it shows like that they kind of reverse engineered the percentages, and if what their numbers say is true, it looks like she would have won by 67%, and he would have lost by 30. He would have got 33%.
That makes sense to me.
Amazing.
That makes sense.
Reflects what we all felt and saw.
Right.
Yep.
So in that regard, you are not just welcome. We want you back whenever you want. If you have more information, you and I have been talking on TikTok, so I'll know what's going on there. Whenever you have information, if you just want to come on and do silly topic shows with us, but like seriously, we want you back.
Yeah, anytime. Like Mike said, it doesn't have to be regarding anything related to the election. Like if you just want to come on here and talk shit with us, more than welcome to do so.
Sometimes it's silly videos making fun of.
And we appreciate you too, because you're the ones that brought us Election Truth. Because I reached out to you originally, like, hey, would you like to come on the show? And you're like, yeah, can I bring Election Truth Alliance to Smart Elections with me? I'm like, yeah. So we really appreciate you. It's because of it. That's the thing I like about the community. Like, it seems like everywhere I go, I know that person from online, and now I'm starting to meet these people in real life. And I'm sure with us being in Pennsylvania, eventually we're going to end up at a protest or some event together at the same time. So it'll be the future is going to be complicated. Everybody, it's going to be a long fight. Do not think we're going to protest for a few months and then everything's going to go back to normal. That's not how this works. We have to be mentally prepared to go the distance on this one.
Yep.
It's going to be exhausting. There's going to be days you want to give up. There's days that we wanted to quit. You know what I mean? There are definitely days that we've wanted to quit. The day after the election, I texted Mike. I was like, it's over. I'm like, it's over, man.
So I specifically, when we and we're going to live stream every election because it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the outcome wasn't fun, but the point is right after when we finally knew it was happening, I went upstairs. I took one of my couch pillows. I screamed into it and started crying. Like I'm not going to be embarrassed about that. It was like watching the worst thing I could imagine happen finally happening.
I felt like I lost a relative. I felt like I was mourning the death of a loved one. I haven't felt like that since my dad died. I'm not gonna lie.
You know why? I mean, we got complacent and we thought America would always be here for us, and it's not anymore.
I think even we were under the impression of this could never happen in America to some extent.
Yep,
you know what I mean? I think we were all wrong on that one, obviously. So, all right, guys, thank you so much, Brandi. Thank you so much again for coming on the show. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Do not forget, tomorrow, James, sorry, she's brain fart.
Derp State.
James and I will be on doing another episode of the Derp State, covering all the recent events surrounding Donald Trump and his idiotic administration. And then on Tuesday, Liz McIntyre, and founder of Stop Moms for Liberty, is coming back on the show. We're going to do another show targeting education because there's some crazy shit going on.
Oh, we're going over the PragerU shit. Oh,
yeah, we're going over the PragerU stuff with Liz. I don't know if you guys heard, but this is something we'll talk about. Florida now, they want to stop certificate of completions for disabled students.
Yep.
Which means
because
no matter what they do, they wouldn't be able to graduate.
The Nazis went after the disabled people first.
Yep. So we have a lot to talk about. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I will be in Washington, D.C., live streaming and recording as much as possible. So keep an eye on my Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube because those are going to be the three platforms I'm going to be focusing all the content on because TikTok is almost pointless right now. You know what I mean?
Well, no, for your uses because.
Well, yeah, because I get a little.
You just
extra.
get angry and put watching what Brandi does, watching people like what Lainey do. That's a hard platform to succeed on, and there's people doing a lot of good on there.
They know how to properly articulate themselves. I do not.
Fair enough. I'll buy that.
I lead with emotion on a lot of these subjects. So have a good rest of your day, everybody. We love you all. We love our community, and it's going to be a big week for the show. And a big week for democracy. And veterans are going to try and lead the way on this one. So love you guys. Have a good rest of your day. And like always, we will talk to you soon.